Alrighty, welcome to another episode of the Lockdown Podcast. Continuing to break down Raw and SmackDown as we do. We also have a lot to talk about in regards to King and Queen of the Ring. And then we also are on the precipice of Night of Champions on this Saturday. And so I know that a lot of people feel the same way as we do. And Frederick pointed this out that was another obviously a more popular YouTuber than us, basically reciprocating exactly what we said in regards to WWE being more entertainment than wrestling, and we'll probably share the video on the YouTube page if you ever want to check it out, because he broke down like every statistic. I believe it was Wrestle Talk, I believe. And so if you want to go check out the video to see the true breakdown of how bad it's gotten. But so we kick off Raw this past week with basically another bloodline moment, we'll call it. And I have to say that I feel like Jacob Fatu fits better in this bloodline than the MFTs.
Yeah.
Honestly, because Roman's a better top guy. I mean, Solo was basically kind of skated through on thin ice. As soon as he left the original bloodline and kind of did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so Roman's just a bigger presence, and I think there's more to be learned from Roman Reigns to Jacob, just because Roman does have a plethora of experience, obviously a lot of experience at the top. And so I think it's, obviously it's actual legitimate bloodline, so it's not like they even really need to use the moniker. But yeah, and so ends up Jacob getting, the Ulafala, like a brown one, I think it was.
It was a brown one.
And as they're walking out, after they do their bit, the stupid comedian Eric Andre decides to basically kind of mess with Jacob, and it didn't end well. And
no, it didn't.
I honestly think, though, obviously it's a very planned segment, but man, from being a comedian and trying to get in the ring with the caliber of Jacob Fatu, best of luck, my guy. But I feel like he can now check that off his bingo card.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it all started, when he was about to, they basically beat him up or whatever, and he had him in the ring, and he was going to do a Samoan splash, and you got Adam Pearce down there and a plethora of other, backstage crew member, and basically, Roman's like, hey, don't. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what, fuck it, and just gives him just take him out. And not once but twice did poor Eric Andre get a Samoan splash from Jacob Fatu, and I wish him a speedy recovery, because Jacob is a masterclass of timing and positioning as far as when he hits his moves. So I don't think it was an insane amount of possible injury, but yeah, he's gonna feel it for a while.
Oh, 100%.
So we have our semifinal of the Queen of the Ring tournament between Io Sky and Raquel Rodriguez, and I feel like I'm disappointed, but I'm also happy in the sense of it would have been more entertaining for Raquel to go and then the possibility of, the scenario we want as far as between Liv and her obviously would have been exciting. But obviously as soon as Io Sky obviously got the dub, it was, clear cut that wasn't the story they're going with. But I mean, honestly, a solid match. But I definitely feel like, I think Io Sky needs to win the whole dang thing, honestly, and maybe go on to face Rhea Ripley. I think that would be, it's
That
like,
would be awesome.
like we're pals and we're buddies, but like, hey, I want the championship, and have like one of those good matches where it's like there's not really like a bad person in it really, and like they're friends, but they're also like, hey, like as soon as we get in the ring, like we're not friends, you know. So that would be like the hypothetical or the what I would want to happen. Obviously WWE seems to do their own thing and do stuff that doesn't make any sense. But I digress. So we finally have gotten back just Chad Gable as Chad Gable. And he's kind of been on this kind of redemption tour, as it were, talking to obviously pretty much any luchador that he can talk to. And so like I think it's good for him to kind of make those rounds just because I feel like it's actually a pretty genuine situation, right? Like I think there's genuine respect. And so like yes, this is a storyline of sort, but really it's easy to believe that just it is what it is, right. And Chad's basically, again, and he's kind of he went through everybody, and then he obviously had to, talk to Rey Mysterio, him being the GOAT of Luchador. And so good moments. And so we had Chad Gable face off against Rusev. And although Chad won, obviously, ends up with, Ethan Page getting involved, yada, yada. And obviously it was nice that Ray and Ray, or sorry, Dragon Lee, but came to obviously help him out. And so like I definitely think there's some good story they can, track with this kind of with the Chad Gable redemption tour, because I feel like at some point in time he's gonna have to go back to Otis and Tozawa and Maxine Dupree and kind of finish out the redemption tour with them. There was a small segment in the back where, Chad just kind of looked but didn't really do anything with it. Just because we've been seeing this Maxine Dupree and Austin Theory thing going on in the back, which it's confusing because they haven't really like done anything with it. It's just kind of, Maxine went and checked on, Austin Theory, or you see him in the back talking, or yada yada, and like they haven't really given any like distinct what they're doing with this. I don't know if it's an actual real life relationship.
No,
I don't know.
In real life, Maxine Dupree is married to another NXT.
Yeah, she's married.
Yeah.
And Austin Theory's like single or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what they're doing with this. I think it's just them perusing into creating some drama.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I'm all for some good drama. But I still want to see Otis just beat the crap out of Austin Theory. That'd be great. Because Otis needs to, get back rolling, because they've kind of become pretty non-existent. Other than some backstage segments and maybe a match here and there, but I'll collect a paycheck, right?
Pretty much.
So,
You
um,
did it. It's good work.
yeah. So we get LA Knight coming out, as he has been for the last couple weeks, obviously chirping amongst all the bloodline stuff and honestly spitting a lot of facts, really. I mean,
Mhm.
love him or hate him, honestly, a lot of what he's saying in regards to the bloodline and, Jimmy and Jay kind of being the lackeys once again, they're going out and speaking on his behalf. They're talking themselves up and, they're saying it's different, but realistically it is just the same. I mean, I don't care how you slice it. The bloodline stuff is the same. And it was fine for the 4-ish years we had it, but it's like it's so bland now. It's beyond predictable. I mean, like we need a faction shakeup or something because like it's just the same over and over and over again. For as much as Roman Reigns dogged John Cena, man, his stuff ain't no better. It's the same gimmick, the same, says what town he's in, acknowledge me. Everybody puts their hand in the air, all that stuff. I mean, it's recycled.
Yeah.
But so obviously Jimmy and Jay come out to confront LA Knight. First, Jimmy being the more level-headed one, and then followed not too much longer. Jay comes out and pretty much not getting anything accomplished, and here comes one Jacob Fatu being basically, I would say, beyond the enforcer.
Mm.
And gives him the tongue and death grip, and that's all we've seen for LA Knight. But yeah, so I mean, so like, what are your guys' thoughts on just kind of the repetitiveness of everything, like the bloodline stuff? I mean, just how things are going.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's this is his John Cena missionary moment. I mean,
Missionary after missionary after
yep,
missionary.
and something else is going to have to give very quickly in the story. They're going to lose people that really want to see the bloodline, so they're going to have to step it up. You know, whatever that looks like, they're just going to have to step it up because I don't see people staying with the bloodline if it turns into whatever Roman Reigns says that's what they do. And maybe that's where Big Jim comes in. Maybe he's the catalyst for change because remember when the bloodline imploded the first time, it was Big Jim who started it. It wasn't Jay.
Oh,
Yeah.
me personally, I really don't want to see any more fucking bloodline. I already dealt with that for fucking 4 goddamn years. I'm over it. I know they're trying to do it just to get more eyes on the product, get more asses in the seats. I can fully understand that, but still, we are over the bloodline.
I mean, and honestly, for as much as they they dogged John Cena about all the merchandise and all the gimmicks and the very kind of QB1 kind of yes man, and you look at what anybody else is doing. How many new shirts is Roman coming out with? How many new shirts are the Usos coming out with? How many new shirts does Jacob have? I mean, it's no different if you're looking at it from merchandise and selling point. Yes, go ahead, put them on TV as much because they sell. But the only problem is that the fans are going to start kind of being like, yeah, we did this for 4 years, and I don't know what needs to happen for us to get out of the bloodline stuff again and go back to let Jacob do whatever the hell Jacob wants to do. Have Roman just, I don't know, retire and let the Usos go do the tag team stuff and let there be more independence in wrestling versus just a composite of 5 different factions just spread across the whole map. And it's like you look at back in the day with the exception of, and I'm going to say like 90s time, so like 90s 2000 stuff like that, like there really wasn't that many about like just huge factions, right? Am I wrong though? Like
Oh,
it
you're not
was
wrong.
more it was more independent successors
we
and
had-
tag teams, and that was it.
We had the NWO that kind of ruled the 90s and very early 2000s.
Yeah, you had the NWO and NWO Wolfpack.
Yep. And then we had different variations of it. We had the LWO and some other stuff. The rise of factions happens when you have a lot of talent that you want to get over, and you've got to make them familiar, but you don't want to make them. You don't want them to have a personality yet, and I don't know why they're trying to reset Jacob. You kind of just let Jacob just be unpredictable and do Jacob things like he did on the Indies. You just kind of corral that story, and maybe that's the attempt. I don't know, but what I need to see from this iteration of the bloodline is that I need to see it implode in such a way there's no like resurrecting this, kind of like how the Shield imploded with Seth turning heel,
Yeah.
and maybe it becomes something along the lines of that's what they do with Jacob, and not Jacob turning heel, but like Jacob turning like super face and then getting over that hump of not being able to beat Roman Reigns and beating Roman Reigns. But I don't, yeah, I'm with you guys. But you know what?
There just has to be a breaking point at some point, because realistically, the Judgment Day has gone under, different renditions. Obviously it started off with Edge and I believe Damian Priest.
It
And
was
then-
it was Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea.
Yeah, and so Rhea kind of was a little while in ad, and that faction I was okay with, just because it was is the veteran with the 2 predecessors of equal value and equal importance, and then obviously slowly, obviously here comes Finn, and then obviously basically Damian and Rhea basically get excommunicated, and then all of a sudden here comes Liv Morgan, here comes Raquel Rodriguez, here comes Carlito, here comes, and then so it's like what it started out as was acceptable and well understood, but now it's a dog and pony show with a Triple H champion that doesn't do shit with his title. We have a women's champion who doesn't do shit with her title, and they're just a goofy ass faction that has individually they're like separate pieces of a Lego, like a Lego car, we'll say.
Mhm.
Is that independently they don't mean shit. but together they are what they are. But the Judgment Day just doesn't ooh ah me, or it doesn't instill fear. It's like, who's to fear? The short guy with the hard head, or the average guy with the goofy ass 70s mustache?
Yeah.
But I mean, this group doesn't instill anything in me other than a group mentality that has no brutality, pun intended. But yeah, so we're at a very lost point right now, and I chalk it up to literally from the top of TKO all the freaking way down. So again, speaking of Judgment Day, obviously we had Charlotte Flair versus Roxanne Perez. Match didn't mean shit. We'll move on. Then we had the Javon Evans. Basically, they wanted him to join the Vision. Obviously, he's like, I know.
Oh,
and then obviously, yeah, and then we basically get a match between Javon Evans and Austin Theory. Obviously, ends in a disqualification. No surprise. But obviously, Javon Evans does get some help from Montez Ford and the returning Angelo Dawkins. And what are they doing with these guys? Like, I mean, really, you brought Street Profits back, right? After what, almost 2 years. And you bring them back, and they're an established tag team, one of the longest tenured tag teams currently on the brand. And what are you doing with them?
Not a damn thing.
I really just have it's mindless, and I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're not going to do anything with it. But so our main event of the night was Obafemi versus Dominic Mysterio. And, I know there's a lot of chirping about like, oh, why do they put these squash matches in there? And I'm like, well, that's because you look at the tail of the tape. That says squash match. You look at the resume of Obafemi that is overshadowing Dominic already. Not even a year. And he's already way more fearsome, way more dominant than Dominic ever could have been. Period. And I mean, I thought it was crazy though, because JD hit him with that chair.
Oh yeah. Put it dead in it too.
You heard it. And just no reaction. Nothing. And yeah, I mean, ends up basically just beating the holy hell out of both of them. The match only lasted longer because he was literally destroying JD and Dominic. But
they fucking ragdolls.
Yeah, it was definitely.
And then he got up on the mic and talked a little bit of smack about Brock Lesnar.
Oh, he has to. I mean, and it's like people are like online, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a prediction that Brock Lesnar gets involved. No shit. Welcome to Everyone Says That. And wouldn't it be a kerfuffle if it didn't happen? And maybe we just get the match. And maybe, just maybe, we get Roman Reigns, Obafemi, SummerSlam. Like, let that sink in. Like, I really think that it could be just this is hypothetical, just based on the madness and the massiveness of Obafemi. Is that what if Roman went for a spear and he didn't knock down and he didn't get knocked down? Like he goes for a spear and he hits him with it and he just like backs up a little bit.
Backs up like the hell? And you have Obafemi just shaking it, swiping it off like really?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to hurt me?
You know,
Yeah.
that would be some interesting storytelling. I know that a lot of people would want to see uh, Roman getting his comeuppance uh, when it comes to like power game and just not being able to just beat somebody. Um, just don't know. I just yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think Oba needs a little bit more adversity before he gets his first world championship. Um, Getting over the Brock Lesnar hump before he gets to Roman Reigns is the better story. It's the longer story, but it's the better story.
True.
Seth, your mic, Seth.
I just noticed it. I'm so special. But
No
well, because I mute it when I vape, so I don't it doesn't into the mic. But so, what are they like? What are they doing with just either men's tag team championships? Like, you had, you had Braun Breaker, whatever, take over, with Austin Theory, but it's like, is he really just there just to say he has a tag team partner?
I think
Or
so.
Are they going to do anything with it? Are they going to defend them? I mean, there's a massive lack of actually titles being defended on a semi regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always hated, and I'm probably not alone, is the fact that when someone faces off against the champion in a quote unquote non-title match, but then beats them, and then they're given an opportunity and then lose that one. Like, how many hundreds of times has that been done time and time again in WWE?
Too many times.
Like if you're the champion and you're in a match, it's for your championship. Period. Like, unless it's in a tag match or something like that. But like, I mean, I feel like that would make the product a little bit more interesting if every time that champion stepped in the ring, they were defending their title. And you look back at like a while back when CM Punk was saying that stuff to Roman about just because you did it longer doesn't mean you did it better. And you look at CM Punk's, title reign of like 400 and something days, and he defended his title probably 2 more times than Roman did in 1,000 more days. And that's because that's the product of old, and Roman is the product of now, where they're basically just holding the title hostage, rarely defending it, versus back in the day. I mean, you look at John Cena's how many days he's been as champion, at being champion 17 times. You look at those numbers and you're like, oh yeah, but he wasn't champion that long or whatever else, or Roman's got a longer reign, blah blah blah, whatever. But I'm like, again, just because you did it longer doesn't mean you did it better, because the competition was more fierce, back in the early 2000s, into 2010s even. Titles are getting swapped on just a regular Raw or SmackDown, stuff like that. And now it's just like it's become this once in a great while a championship will be defended on a Raw or SmackDown. Like, personally, I think every Raw and SmackDown should have a title match, at least one, period.
Yeah.
Because who wants to go pay money to hear a bunch of talking segments? I sure as shit don't. But the problem is people are dumb enough to pay. And no one's going to just not go to an event in their city. And it's unfortunate because I tell you, if we actually boycotted like going to shows, could you imagine if people actually stood up and said, yeah, these ticket prices, yeah, the quality of product is shit, we're not paying. Could you imagine how embarrassing that would be to see a Raw or SmackDown if they wanted to keep their consecutively weekly episode, put an episode on with no fans? Purely hypothetical, but
You know what? It's really hard to get people to sign up for that, especially when there are more people clamoring for just the experience and not realizing that they have the opportunity to change that experience. It's just really, I think it's really challenging for a lot of people to just to get that through their head that they have the ability to change things. So if you stop participating in what is currently being offered, a company will eventually follow suit. You know, I think it is something, idealistic to imagine, but the reality is there's more people that have a different argument in a different place in their life. It's like, when is the next time they're going to come? If we don't show up for this, they might not come back for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years.
yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
That is
you know.
true.
So yeah,
yeah,
you're
they
kind of
brought,
stuck.
they brought SmackDown twice,
Raw,
and
Raw
the Raw
usually
Raw was literally like how what 2 years ago?
pretty much. I notice when Raw comes to Grand Rapids, it's about 4 to 5 years before they come back with a Raw, but it's usually always SmackDown.
Yeah, well they have one coming. I think it's July 19th or July something. I think it might have been July, maybe July 17th, but they're going to Little Caesars. But anywho,
July 20th, in Detroit, Michigan. So that'll be the closest that they get,
that's
you
a
know.
Raw. So yeah,
And
yeah.
VIP packages, info, shit. So $75 for the way upper nosebleed seats. Let's see here. They've got stuff on the floor that's going for $275, 64 seats in sections 2 and 3. I'm guessing in front of the hard cam. Guess. Guess.
700, 1,000.
966.
I would honestly rather be.
Fuck
I'd
that.
rather be on the hard cam side. Like
Yeah,
if you really think about it, because
I want
every time they're
yeah.
talking into the hard cam, and then so their back is to the fans because they're talking to the TV. Like I'd
Mhm.
rather be on the hard cam side because then it's like you're basically like this.
Yeah.
You're like you feel like you're watching it from home, but you're there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the hard cam side is there's no floor seats available. The only seats where the hard cam section that's available is 111, and that's for M28 uh, at the time of recording. So, like, yeah, if you want to sit in the direction of the hard cam, so you're on TV when they're talking, because you're in the background of them shooting, those
yeah.
tickets are 966.
And that's that. Like the thing is, the problem is, people are dumb enough to pay it, and so they will put those numbers up there because they know people are dumb enough to pay them. But like not that's literally like some people's 2-week paycheck.
Those tickets get worse. So, like, you've got the first row from the barrier that's all sold out. The second row, there are 2 seats that are currently selling for 1146, and those are the VIP package. And then when you go 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, 966, I think is the cheapest in that section.
Jesus. And
So
like, and
1, 2, 3,
that's the
4.
kicker, man, is that, you know, they'll put those prices up there because they can.
Someone bought
And
them.
it's just wild to me that it's you know, no one's like, because people can afford those, or at least they'll pay that, is the reason why we'll never get like a WWE walkout from the fan base, because it's literally just there's people that will pay it.
Yep.
Yep.
And you know, and what I really think, I heard, I think it was forget which artist it was. He was a little bit older, and what he said is that they never sell the first 2 rows of his shows, because, and he said this is because the people that enjoy the show the most are the ones in back that just could afford enough just to get there. And those are the loyal fans, not the ones that just got money and they can just blow it. So they would always go around and they would bring up those people from the back and give them front row tickets, because those are the true fans.
Right.
Yep.
You know, and so that's just like WWE, man. The people that are in the nosebleeds because they want to be at the event, and the people that are paying, let's say, $300 and below, that's the true fan base. And anybody who can afford the rest of that is just like, oh, that's cool. I can just be at the show because I can throw money around, and I can just be there because I can.
As I
Right?
say, there are a couple of times I've been to a Raw or a SmackDown where it was under Vince McMahon at the time, where I will get there, and they'll scan my tickets. They'll be like, "Oh, go see the ticket people." I'm like, I said, "Okay, for what?" They're like, "We're gonna upgrade your seats." I'm like, "All right, sweet, whatever." Went there, and then usually I ended up getting floor seats. I got lucky, got ringside seats upgraded to, because they didn't have anybody sitting down there, because a couple times they were too expensive to afford, and they needed that section to be filled. And I got on the hard cam side of the ring.
So buy the cheapest tickets and they'll feel bad for you and give you front row.
Pretty much.
That would be the hope.
Yeah,
That would be the hope.
the first seats I ever bought, I bought the first time I ever got my seats upgraded. I was kind of happy about it, because me and my friend's seats were, we were right kind of behind the Titantron, kind of like.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, well, and the thing is, and that's why they have the minimalistic entrance now, is because they're money hungry versus production quality, and the more people they can fit, that's how they do it now. And it's just ridiculous in my point. But anyways. So we get to SmackDown, and the very first match of the night, which I honestly was kind of interesting why this got put at the beginning, but was the Cody Rhodes versus Gunther and Sami Zayn as the guest referee. And what blows my mind is that, like, we're watching this. Well, I guess some of us are watching this, but like, and obviously it was a good match, but obviously, like, there was taunting and aggression towards Sami from both Cody and Gunther. And so after all is said and done, obviously Sami gets power bombed, and then they bring in a new ref, and then Gunther hits his move, and then, you know, Sami Zayn pulls the ref out, and all in all ends up doing a super mega fast count, as we've seen before.
Mhm.
You know, and obviously Cody wins, whatever. And obviously then they go back to the thing, and Gunther's pissed and yada yada, and it's like, So they restart the match. And so, you know what? For once, we actually got a good quality, like probably 30 minutes worth of match. And obviously ended in a disqualification because Sammy wasn't having it. And so now we're basically going to get Gunther versus Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions. And honestly, I want Sammy to win.
Me too.
I think what a way to win the championship, because if Cody retains, that's bullshit and no one wants to see it. Like if we want to start a movement, hashtag we want Sammy, okay? Because that's what all of us want. That is what the plethora of the WWE universe wants. We don't want to see the same Cody Rhodes with the same bullshit he comes out with every freaking week, and it's stupid and it's mundane and it's boring.
We'll still get it because there's no getting around that catchphrase, that introduction. I mean, we're still going to get it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so I think that's everyone's long shot pick, and I think it would be well deserved.
Agree.
So our next match we had was the WWE Tag Team Champions Damian Priest and R-Truth versus the MFTs. And after this match, and obviously all of the outside interference that Solo Sikoa was more of a distraction than a help, I think we're going to truly see the cracks in the MFTs. And because they were pissed because like, I want to do it on my own. Why are you getting involved? You're just a distraction. And I don't know. I think that maybe, just maybe, that this is more than just a slight crack in the shield that is the MFTs. But who else are they going to bring in though? Like the thing about the MFTs is that, much like Lego pieces, right? They independently, there's nothing. They're just in like everybody else. Together, obviously, there's something special. But I mean, Solo, his whole gimmick has kind of been treading water for a while. And then obviously them getting rid of Tama Tonga and JC Mateo didn't help either. And I really don't know what the like reasoning behind all that was, because it's like, it was just one of God. It wasn't both. And so it's really confusing. Like, JC Mateo, I mean, you guys wasted him. Like, that's on you. He should have never been involved in any of the Bloodline MFT stuff. Period. But they turn him into a freaking panda, and it just, I feel like that was a detriment to getting the full experience of JC Mateo.
Yeah.
But now it's like, now the MFTs are a shell of themselves. So our next match we had was Ricky Saints versus Carmelo Hayes for a number one contender spot for Trick Williams. And good straight up match, man. I know I'm a avid preacher of just good, clean matches. And this was a good, clean match. Take away nothing. I really don't like Ricky Saints, but I mean, he's here. But
True.
so, obviously he does get the win over Carmelo Hayes. But I mean, this is honestly a situation where, like, I still want Trick to be champion. I don't care about, and now they're listing Ricky Saints as absolute Ricky Saints, and I think that is just
That's
goofy.
stupid.
Well, that's always been his moniker, absolute Ricky Starks before he came over to WWE. That's always been his moniker. So I don't have a problem with it. What I do have is that they're going to have to like really do some work to get him over, because to me it still appears that he's struggling. Um, so I really do. He's probably going to be a mid cutter, and that's probably where they'll have his position be for a while. But there is a possibility, let him talk without, um, really holding him back. Let him do his thing. Um, and there's a possibility. Um, but I can easily see them fumbling Ricky Sinks. Really. Yeah. So,
He's definitely going to get third string quarterback money. But again, I guess, like we say, paycheck's better than no paycheck, and might as well be doing what you love, even if you're not utilized.
yeah,
But
true.
now we got to the semifinal match for King of the Ring with Jey Uso versus Javon Evans. And I know my long shot pick obviously was Javon Evans, but the reality pick we all picked was obviously Jey Uso winning, and Frederick's sensor light just acknowledged that he wasn't moving.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden it just went dark.
Oh,
But anyways, sorry, dang rabbit trails.
yep.
ADHD. But no, so Jey Uso does get the win, honestly, but like I like that there was at least a show of respect. I know that in Jay's heart of hearts, obviously, being part of the company for as long as he has, definitely acknowledges the skill of Javon Evans. And I thought it was a good heartfelt moment. Yeah, Jay's this whole unhinged whatever, but it's like he's also still someone who acknowledges the future of the business, and that being one Javon Evans. And so, good moment. All's well that ends okay. Now, let's get to the biggest bullshit of the whole podcast, and that is one stupid, obnoxious, screaming, talentless, championship not defending Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair and the Queen of the Ring semifinal match. And no, just no. I don't agree with it. I think it's stupid. I think it's a lack of acknowledging what you have. It doesn't make any sense. Liv Morgan wins, right? She's the champion. One, why the fuck is she in the tournament? Two, why do they have zero compelling storylines for her as champion for almost 2 months? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what in the God's green earth is WWE doing that you don't even have anything for Liv Morgan? Anything, period. Zero, zilch, nada. I would rather see Queen Charmel be champion and giving a wave every show than be subjected to Liv Morgan's screaming, bantering, acting like she's hot shit when she ain't done shit. Oh yeah, I'm ranting. Let me rip.
All right.
I don't get it. How do you have your top champion like not overshadowing the tournament versus being in the tournament, right? Like you think it'd be cool if she was like ringside or something, or maybe her and Rio are both at these matches or whatever, and watching them and being an outsider and be like, okay, who are you gonna face? Yada yada. That's at least a compelling storyline where it's like, they're involved from the outside, not the inside. And so now basically, so all in all, obviously Liv wins, right? And so now we have Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. And I honestly think we should just kibosh the whole Queen of the Ring final. And when Io wins, and she should win, is that she loses her title and Io gets a crown. Because it doesn't make any other sense any other way. Because again, she is like Liv Morgan is the current champion. And logically, Io Sky wouldn't go face Rhea, logically, right? And so she would obviously would want to face Liv Morgan because they're on the same brand. Or I guess brand's a very generic term now because everybody goes everywhere. But yeah, I will hold my time. And what do you guys think? Love just the whole Queen of the Ring in its entirety, honestly, it's been kind of a wash, but what are your guys' thoughts, obviously, on the whole Liv Morgan stuff? Obviously, the Queen of the Ring tournament in its entirety. I'm gonna let you guys let her rip.
I think it's stupid because she won. She already is a women's champion. She doesn't need to go for Rhea at SummerSlam. If they are going to do it that way, is both fucking titles going to be on the line? They're going to unify both titles.
I think I was just sitting here thinking that that's probably the best, probably the direction that they're going to go is unifying.
Like they did back in the day with Becky Lynch when she won the Raw Women's Championship. When she had the SmackDown Championship and won the Raw one against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you know what? I think we get a 2-belt champ, and I think it's Io Sky's run to lose. I mean, I can clearly see Io Sky winning this tournament and then facing Rhea Ripley. Now, if Rhea is hurt and they have a tournament for the championship, then there's a whole nother thing. I did see something on the internet that Rhea potentially is, legit injured. So I really, I think we're gonna get a unified championship for the women's titles, women's singles titles.
And I think that makes sense. I think that with the women's secondary titles, the women's tag belts, I feel like again with the lack of a brand split, and that's a very valid point that we could very well just see you're the women's champion and that's all it is. And I think that honestly makes sense. I think that that puts us just where it's like how it already is, right? I mean, we're already doing it. We're already having Liv on Raw, and then she's on SmackDown, and then and so you're seeing this back and forth again and in the roster in its entirety. And so it's they silently basically said, brand split, just toss it. And so I think that definitely would lead us into just one champion because there's not enough roster to, because again, the secondary workhorse titles are one thing. Those can pivot however they see fit. But it's I feel like you just need to have one champion and that be what it be. Because that way you would be able to go between the brands, between Raw and SmackDown, and get compelling storylines. Because I think with one champion, there's more storylines to be had than two champions to try to fabricate non-existent storylines within just one brand. I feel like, because that's going to create a lot of fantasy booking matches. So we have our official Night of Champions match set. So there actually is 6 matches at Night of Champions. And for S&Gs, I'm just gonna say that one of these is a quickie, and and we'll go through them and we can just pontificate what the quickie is gonna be. But so, and again, these aren't in order because we never really know the order. But so we have the Cody Rhodes versus Gunther and Sami Zayn for the undisputed championship. Who do you got?
Sammy.
Or better question, who do you want, but who do you think will probably still be, be
I will
Yeah.
say I want Sami Zayn to win, but we all see Cody Rhodes to keeping his title.
I want Sammy, but I see Gunther getting over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, the problem is what we usually want, we usually don't get. So I think I'm gonna probably say 40% saying that Cody's gonna retain, 40% Gunther wins, and the absolute long shot 20% that Sammy wins. And I think I would rather be surprised than just be like, oh yeah, well, we kind of knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what WWE lacks, honestly, is because of the influx of social media and just everything that encompasses WWE, it's hard to bring surprises, right? I mean, even when Cody returned at WrestleMania 38, like everybody knew he was returning. It wasn't like it was some grandiose secret, but like the couple times Brock Lesnar's returned, though, those were genuine surprises. And so it's kind of toting the line of either we get complacency in Cody Rhodes, we get dominance Gunther, or long shot Sami Zayn. So now the other match of the night we'll have the Queen of the Ring final, Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, and I think we've kind of already picked apart that. But if you guys have anything else to add more than what we've kind of already broke down.
I'll just officially say I want EO. We get EO.
Yeah.
Same here.
So Jey Uso versus Obafemi in the
Obafemi.
King of the Ring final.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what? This one's hard for me because I want Oba, but I think if Brock Lesnar shows up, we get Jey.
Come on,
Yeah.
Frederick.
But I'm going Oba.
Come on, Frederick.
Yep, it's Oba.
He's like, you fuckers dance all you want.
Yep, it'll be Oba. Yep.
Yeah. So I
could say Oba's gonna win and Brock Lesnar's gonna come out.
Yeah, I still, yeah. I mean, I think there's still juice to be squeezed. Obviously with the 1-1 between Brock Lesnar and all that.
I'll take that back. I could see Oba winning, going to SummerSlam, facing Roman Reigns, and seeing Brock Lesnar interfere.
Mm.
And having him lose that title match.
I mean, it would be bigger to happen at SummerSlam than it would be at just Night of Champions. So and Brock only comes for the big paycheck. So he's not flying to Saudi to nah, he ain't doing that.
Nope.
He'll be on his ranch in Saskatchewan or whatever he lives, and he'll be like, yeah, I'll come for X amount of dollars. And he ain't flying to Saudi for it. I mean, long shot that he might, but I mean, I think that it's the difference between probably and probable.
Maybe they just play his music there to distract Omi Femi.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a Paul Heyman tactic right there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's done that plenty of times when he was
And
when he worked with CM Punk.
yeah, I mean, or we get a returning CM Punk.
That too.
That could be happening.
I mean, there's a lot of returns that could be possible. Obviously, like CM Punk's not out with like an injury or anything. He was doing the whatever sideshow he was doing, but like, there's a plethora of possibilities of returns,
Yeah.
and that's where like the real kicker and the real excitement is when it's like nobody knows. I mean, we still have Bronson Reed we don't know a whole lot about. CM Punk is out there in his 50s juicing. And, I mean,
He's looking good for his age.
yeah, well, that
Oh,
juice will do that. But, and I think, I mean, even honestly, even like Kevin Owens, I mean, I don't know,
Mm.
that's, he hasn't really like officially done, retired or anything yet.
I
Obviously he's
would
been
be
out for a while, but
surprised. I would be surprised if he doesn't come back. I would not be surprised if he does not come back.
yeah,
Just because of the history of how Triple H has been really protective of people with neck injuries because of what happened to Draws. Um, yeah, I would not be surprised he doesn't come
yeah,
back. But if he does come back, he'll be incredibly protected. Um,
yeah,
those neck injuries, it depends on the human being, but it also depends on how severe it was. Um, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So on to the next match, which I really honestly I love Seth Rollins, but I really didn't even really pay attention to even this match being made. But Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker in a steel cage match. And the Vision's getting involved. Okay, like this is if there's any match that Bronson Reed returns, this is it.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
and so because Austin Theory really isn't much. Obviously, now with Seth Rollins kind of having Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford kind of, you know, looking as it were. And so now there's a little bit more defense for him. So I feel like, but again, this is probably the prime real estate for him to come back. I don't know if he's exactly going to come back or not. I don't think there's really been much chatter. I mean, the Vision's kind of been injury plagued like ridiculously. And it's like I don't know which one of you guys said it, but like this is why he didn't make it in professional sports. and
yep,
so
Ron, yep, yep,
and so yeah, and so I think that it's tough, dude. But it's like again, it's all based on your move set, really.
yeah,
I mean, you can only run that spear so hard so many times before it doesn't mess up your shoulder, possible hurt neck. I mean, the muscles in there. I mean, it's not a safe move set, especially when he does it so fast. It's one thing to have like the like kind of standing spear or kind of the soft spear that like Jay does, but I mean, you look at Goldberg's spear. I mean, he didn't have a long career, guys. And so if that says anything about the spears of past, is it doesn't really register to a long career. Just because I mean, again, like the possibilities of injury are extremely higher when that's your go-to. But anywho, so our next match we have is Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's United States title. And I don't really have much on this match, honestly. Like, I think it's a little bit crazy to think where Tiffany Stratton was a year ago, where Jade Cargill was 6 months ago, and you have two that were at the top, and now we're in the middle.
I'm not worried about that because every WWE superstar has done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
I got Jade, and I want Jade. I think if they're going to really fulfill her as, the most sought after like women signing in a long time,
yeah,
she's got to win this. And then I would make her work. I would
yeah,
put, you know what, you've been talking about wanting to work. All right, now you're gonna work. You know what?
yeah.
And I
I
would
mean,
just give her all the matches she can possibly handle. Yeah. So
well, and make sure that wig glues on tight so it doesn't distract the match.
oh yeah, she should have just took it off, turned heel on the wig, and that would have been
You
fucking
know, I
amazing.
think that's it's unfortunate, but like, I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's
You know
no
what? You
different
live.
than any other wardrobe malfunction that happens all the time.
That is
Yep.
true.
Yep. You
So I
just
mean,
you just move
it's
on.
whether it's nips popping or regular hair popping. I mean, shit's
Yeah.
fucking. These women wrestle in like stripper gear sometimes. It feels like so. It's like
Yeah.
like you. I mean, it's yeah,
You know what? Yep.
but it sells seats and it sells merch.
Yep.
So
Who do you got, Tim?
I don't.
is it Tiffy time or Cargill time?
I'm gonna say Jade. I can see them giving her a title, giving her the U.S. title.
I think it would be good for her to win this solely because she needs more contendership under her belt.
Yep.
And you know, the top tier obviously was kind of a trial and error. You know, but if she truly wants to kind of put in the work and create an aura of dominance, it needs to be less talk and more wrestling. And I think that for her to win doesn't diminish Tiffany. So, you know, so like Tiffany can take the L and move on with her day. You know, I don't think it's any detriment to her, but I think it would lift Jade Cargill just because, again, she needs to get some more matches under her belt. She needs to get more, you know, squash matches or however you want to book her, but have her consistently showing up to fight. And I think that will change a lot of the perspectives and the view of her being a chatter champion versus a fighting champion. And so however this plays out, honestly, I mean if Tiffany wins and retains, I'm not mad about it. If Jade wins, I'm not mad about it.
Same.
You know, and I think that the fact that we're getting this particular championship match, you know, on a PLE, it says something for the title, you know, much like, you know, the next match, which is Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints, is that like, I obviously want Trick to win and continue doing Trick Willie things. And, you know, but again, the fact that these are getting shine on PLEs says something about the performers. You know, I mean, Trick is on fire. Like you could send this guy to the moon right now. He's got so much power right now. I mean, and it's authentic. It's awesome. And, you know, and the Lil Yachty thing is kind of grown on you a little bit now because that's just, you know, them having a good pairing that happens to work, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's been a lot of trial and errors of celebrities coming in or artists or however you want to view them, celebrities, actors, whatever. And, you know, and coming into the business and kind of seeing if it works or not. And honestly, Lil Yachty being kind of a mouthpiece it adds to Trick Williams. Trick Williams is over by himself, but obviously the star power of Lil Yachty, obviously,
Yeah.
rising tide lifts all ships, man. So, yeah. So, that's what we're looking forward to on Saturday for Night of Champions. Before we kind of get over this thing, is that I think WWE needs to make Night of Champions prestigious like it used to be.
Yeah.
The name has to mean something, right?
Hmm.
All the PLEs had meanings. They had like matches where they were culmination matches, like when they did a Hell in the Cell. That was a culmination match. It used to just be a regular ass match, but like, the PLEs have to mean something. The name has to hold water. Night of Champions needs to be about champions. If you're gonna have King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring shit, then just call it King and Queen of the Ring, and be done with it, and let everything else fall where it lie. But realistically, I don't even think the women's final should even be on the PLE. I think the championship match should be on PLE, and then let us work out some more for 2 months for SummerSlam, because that puts the champion at a lull for 2 months before SummerSlam. Like, oh, you won in June? Well, I'll see you in August. And so I think that it seemed to make more sense to have the actual championship match be at Night of Champions, and then let them build stuff for the next month and a half going into SummerSlam, and maybe see what comes of it. But but it is what it is. It be what it be. We shall put a pin as we do. And, we'll be back next week, obviously, to continue to break things down. Obviously, we'll be at the Hest of Night of Champions, so we'll definitely have a lot to talk about then. And we will wait and see as we do. This is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.